guys, welcome back to my channel. Mermaid Nina here. Well, I'm back with another top 10 planning tips and tricks advice list for you guys. So I have done these before, right? And it's getting kind of difficult to come up with some more top 10 planning tips and tricks when I've kind of done them already, right? But you guys love to ask me questions and I absolutely love that. So I've gathered 10 additional and new planning questions that you guys have been asking that I'm going to give you some tips and tricks for. So if you're a beginner and you haven't been watching my other videos and you're looking for tips and tricks on like Memory Maker or Magic Bands and kind of basic planning stuff like that, you want to check out my Disney World for Beginners videos, because I have already done that. I am taking, additional kind of questions and concerns that people have and coming up with additional videos. So if you're looking for those basic, simple questions, go ahead and check out that video. But if you've already watched all those other videos and you're looking for more like, what does Nina have up her sleeve in terms of planning tips and tricks? This video is for you. Like I said, I got this from you guys. When you guys watch my videos and you ask me questions, I kind of take notes, right? And eventually I'll either turn them into their own videos or I kind of answer them and talk about them in these kind of segment videos. So as I kind of said earlier, this is another top 10 new and additional, right? Planning tips and tricks video for you guys. So you ready? First question I always get is about park hopping. If you want the ins and outs of park hopping, you gotta see my park hopping video. But this is gonna give you kind of the basics of it. So, park hopping, yes, that's a thing. You absolutely 100% need to purchase the park hopping ticket, right? It's called the Park Hopper. It is an additional cost, roughly about $90 to $95 per person to add that on. Right now at Disney World, you can hop starting at 2 p.m. Disney could change this. They love changing things, but it's been 2 p.m. for a really long time now, a post-COVID really long time. So starting at 2 o'clock, you can go from one park and literally hop to the next park. You can hop to all 4 parks in one day if you want to. I've done it. I have a video all about it. Don't really recommend it, but you can do it. You can hop to all 4 Disney World parks in a single day with the Park Hopper. But to answer a few of your questions is, well, how do I do that, right? How do I actually hop? And can I go back to my first park? So here you go. This is how you hop. Again, starting at 2 o'clock, if you're at your resort, you just hop on the bus to the whatever park you want to go to. So if you started the day at Magic Kingdom, you went back to your resort for some pool time, then you would just go on the bus for whatever park you want to hop to, Epcot, Hollywood Studios, whatever it is. If you're currently at a park, starting around 1:30 or so, Disney's going to bring in park buses to that park. So if you started at Magic Kingdom, starting around 1:30, Disney's going to have an Epcot bus, a Hollywood Studios bus, an Animal Kingdom bus that you can then go to thus hop. You do want to look at that bus signage that is out there in front of the buses because it's going to tell you what lane to go into for that particular bus. But I mean, that's how you hop. You either take a resort bus or, depending on where you're at, take a monorail over, take a boat over. It all depends on where you're at. Again, you can't enter that second park until 2 o'clock. So can you return to the first park? Yes, you can. And I get people who ask me this question because they're worried about the park getting to capacity and Disney cutting it off. If you started at that park, meaning you have park pass reservations for that park, they're not going to kick you out because they've already counted you into capacity, if that makes sense. Also note, you cannot hop until you've started with the original park first. So if you have park pass reservations for Animal Kingdom that day and you want to hop to Hollywood, you have to go into Animal Kingdom first. You need to actually scan your Magic Bands, go through the turnstile, pretend like you were there, whether you're there for 5 minutes or 5 hours, it doesn't matter. You have to actually scan in, then you can then hop to wherever you want to go. So starting at 2 p.m., you got to hit that first park, that park pass reservation park first, and absolutely you can go back to that original park because you are already counted into the capacity levels for the day. Hopefully that makes sense for you guys about park hopping. Next thing up, split stays. Now, I have done several split stays, and yes, they're in my videos, so check those out in my vlog videos from the actual parks. I'm not a fan. I'm just not. It's not something I usually recommend. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of packing, unpacking, repacking, transferring, unpacking, you get where I'm going with this. Essentially, a split stay is when you start at one Disney resort and you essentially hop to another Disney resort for the rest of your stay. But the problem with all of that is you got to transfer your stuff. You got to take your stuff from resort A and move it over to resort B. So here's the things that are involved. First of all, bellhop will 100% move your luggage for you. So when you check out of resort A, take your stuff to bellhop, tell them you're going to resort B, and they will then take your baggage over. Here's the situation. Bellhop did come out and say, we're not going to transfer any refrigerated goods, and we don't want to transfer anything serious like medicine or jewelry or anything they're going to be held accountable for. This kind of puts a wrench into the equation. So this is what I suggest. If you absolutely need to do a split stay, try to pick resorts that are nearby, ones that maybe are walking close, monorail close to each other. That way when you check out of resort A, you can have bellhop transfer your luggage, but then it's easy for you to take your refrigerated goods and your medicine over to resort B. This happens to us a lot. Actually, coming up this year, we will be starting out at Beach Club, which will be our resort A, and then our resort B will be Boardwalk. So we will be having a bellhop transfer our bags over to Boardwalk, and then we will physically walk from Beach Club to Boardwalk with our refrigerated goods, and then check that into bellhop for whenever our room is ready. But yes, know those things going into it. It's not the most convenient thing in the world, but you can 100% do it. Just note that checkout is at 11 a.m. So you got to make sure you're out of that room by 11 a.m. and check-in isn't really until 3 or 4, which means just because you left resort A with all your goodies doesn't mean your room is going to be ready for resort B. Again, hopefully that kind of makes sense to you guys about split stays. Next question I get a lot is regarding renting a car. A lot of people don't realize that Disney World is the size of San Francisco. And with that being my hometown, I'm absolutely aware of how large San Francisco is. We're talking huge. Disney World is humongous. It is my opinion you don't really need a rental car because as long as you're going to stay on property in the Disney bubble, there's really no reason to go elsewhere. Plus, renting a car can be kind of sticky. Luckily, Disney did remove the parking fee, so if you stay at a Disney resort, you don't have to pay for parking anymore, so that's excellent. But the last few times that I have arrived to MCO and I've headed towards where my shuttle picks up, I've just seen way too long of lines for people picking up rentals. I've seen long lines, I've seen tears, and I've seen a lot of frustrations. The problem is a lot of people think they need to rent cars. They do. The rental companies kind of over rent those cars. People arrive and there's literally no car for them to physically rent, even though they already had that reservation. People are waiting in line for hours. There's only a few workers. My personal opinion, avoid renting that car. Go ahead and take a shuttle or a bus or a private driver or Uber to your Disney resort and just kind of stay on property, stay in that bubble. The only reason for me that you really need a rental car is if you are bouncing around while you're in Florida. If you're going from Disney World to Universal, you're going all over the place, maybe, but at the same time, I think I would still rather have a shuttle take me to Disney and then the shuttle take me back to the airport and then rent a car from that point on. Again, this is just my personal take, but you don't really need one if you're just exclusively doing Disney. Go ahead and get that bus and that shuttle, get on Disney property, and you will be good to go. You can go ahead and have groceries delivered. You can have strollers delivered. You can have our, scooters delivered. So you really, really don't need that rental car. Of course, if you are driving to Disney, that's a different situation, but I'm talking basically people who want to fly into the airport and pick up a rental car from that point. To me, it's just not something you need to do. I know some people like to do it, and that's fine, but it is not something that you need to do. Next question I get is, does resort location matter? And with that, does the location within my resort matter in terms of where my room is? I'm gonna go with yes. Yes, it does. It can absolutely matter. I have said this before, that the most convenient resorts to stay on property are the ones that have easy access to the parks, right? Monorail access, boat access, Skyliner access, whatever that is, anything that kind of beats the bus is gonna be better for you and your family. But with that aside, a lot of people wanna know is, once they've picked their resort, right? Is there any really big reason to upgrade to, say, preferred, or to stay in one area of my resort versus another area? You guys get where I'm going with this? And yes, it can matter. And this is why booking with someone, a travel agent, someone with some expertise behind them, can help you, because some resorts, believe it or not, are huge. We actually have convention resorts on property. Places like that that are just so enormous, it can be worth the extra few dollars to stay preferred. Why? Because you're staying closer to the lobby. You know what lobby equals? Food, guest services, shopping, right? And usually the lobby equals buses. Although some really large resorts will have multiple bus stops, but you have to think of this. Is the bus stop that's near you the last bus stop or the first bus stop? Now this matters. If it's the last bus stop, it could mean that by the time the bus gets to you, it's already filled with people, meaning there's no room for you on that bus. Little things like this absolutely matters. But this is what I always tell my clients. You ready for this? Do you need coffee every morning? Will you be getting a resort mug that you need to fill with coffee, soda, whatever every morning? Is you someone who needs a hot breakfast? This means you might want to be close to where they serve food, again, the lobby. Are you someone who's worried about walking too much? Like, you already know you're walking a ton at the parks, you just can't deal with walking too much at your resort? I get this question a lot, guys. Then yeah, you might want preferred as well. Do you want to be close to the action, AKA the main pool? Usually resorts will have one main pool, the big pool, the pool with all the action, the pool with the slide. Therefore, being near the pool or preferred might be better for you. Are you taking a super duper short trip and you're trying to maximize every second of your trip? Yeah, being close to the lobby and the main bus stop might be perfect for you. And as I always tell my clients, you might be surprised on the price difference. Some of these resorts, it's only a few dollars more to get that preferred category or to get a room that's just closer. Sometimes it's not preferred. Sometimes it's standard versus garden versus pool view versus woods view versus river view. I mean, there's so many different views. That can also be location specific. So again, you might have to do your research or book with someone who knows what they're doing if these are concerns. But yes, absolutely. Just because you picked a fabulous resort doesn't mean you want to be in the room that's way in the back in the far corner. Unless you plan on coming back to your resort midday to take a nap, whether you're an adult or there's a baby involved. For us, when we had 2 kids really, really young, I actually preferred to get the room that was in the back because I needed that quietness so that my babies could nap when we took breaks midday. So again, it's what matters to you that's going to depict where you should be within property, within that specific resort. Next up, mouse ears. I get so many questions about mouse ears. First of all, guys, I have several mouse ears videos, including how to store mouse ears, how to display mouse ears, and how to take mouse ears with you to the theme parks. However, I get a lot of you telling me how much you love my mouse ears. Thank you so much. It is a collection I have. I own way, way too many. But the biggest question you guys want to know is, not only do you love my mouse ears, you want to know where I get them. And you want to know if you should buy them in advance, meaning before your trip. So here's my take. These are my mouse ears. These are just one of many. I get most of my mouse ears either A, from Disney itself, like while I'm on vacation, or I get them from Shop Disney. This pair is a Disneyland specific pair of ears that I could not wait till I got to Disneyland to purchase them in person. I went ahead and got them on Shop Disney. Therefore, when I went to Disneyland to celebrate the final day of the Main Street Electrical Parade, I had these ears already in tow. So yes, I absolutely buy them from the theme parks, or I get them from Shop Disney. If you're looking for a pair of custom ears, go ahead and check out Etsy.com. There are some amazing creative people out there that make some fabulous ears. Also, the whole purchasing in advance is kind of a sticky situation, because in some situations like these ones, I had to purchase them in advance because I was afraid they were going to sell out. But this is what you need to note. Not all ears are created equal. Some will be more pinchy, on the side of your head than others. These metal pieces right here, sometimes they can dig into like the top of your head and be extremely painful. So as best as I can, I try to actually wait till I got to the theme parks to buy my ears so I can try them on. I have tried on 6 to 8 ears of the same pair to find the one that fits the best on my head. Isn't pinching on one side, isn't too baggy and falling off my head, and doesn't have a metal piece that's digging into my head. So in general terms, I prefer to wait till I get to the park, but absolutely, if I'm worried about ears selling out, I just buy them directly from Shop Disney and hope for the best. Again, I have so many videos on my ears. Please check that out. Next up, what is the best time to fly home? I cannot tell you how many times I get this question from my clients. So most of you, when you're flying to Disney, you're trying to get there as soon as you possibly can, right? The earlier, the better. And that makes sense. But I get a lot of you who want to know what time you should make your flight when you're done, unfortunately, when your trip is over, because you got to get back to MCO. Well, here's something you need to note. First of all, checkout is at 11 a.m. So no matter what, you got to get out of your room by 11 a.m. Does that mean you have to leave Disney? Nope. Does that mean you have to leave your resort? Nope. It just means you can't be in your room anymore, which means you can take your bags, check them into bellhop, go play in the pool, go to Disney Springs, or go to the theme park. Whatever you want to do, all it means is you got to get out of your room. But most bus and shuttle situations will want to pick you up 3 hours before your flight. So if you have an 8 a.m. flight, that's a really, really early morning of getting up, especially if you have young kiddos. So you want my personal favorite? I try not to book a flight any sooner than 2 p.m. on the day we leave. Think about it. If they're going to kick me out of my room at 11 and the bus is going to pick me up 3 hours early, there you go, 2 p.m. That gives me just enough time to quickly pack up my stuff, maybe have breakfast, maybe do some last minute shopping, and then the bus is here and I can head back to the airport. Of course, if I want to hang out a little bit longer, if I want to go to the pool, Disney Springs, go to the theme park, then you just adjust accordingly. But in all honesty, I try not to get a flight going back home any sooner than about 2 p.m. because I really don't want to get up early and deal with cranky people and trying to pack and be cranky. And I'm already cranky because I have to leave Disney. My vacation's over. I'm trying not to overlay the cranky, if that makes sense. Okay, another question I get is Universal versus Disney World. I get a lot of people who think Universal and Disney World are the same thing. I'm here to tell you they're not. I will get into it. Then I have people that want to go to Disney World and Universal on the same vacation. This is very common. So these are the things you need to know. First, I am a travel agent that does Disney World and Universal, so I do kind of know what I'm talking about, right? So Disney World is 4 theme parks. One of those theme parks is called Hollywood Studios. Do not get that confused with Universal Studios. It's because the word studios is in there, right? Our Hollywood Studios, Disney World's Hollywood Studios, is going to feature Star Wars and Toy Story Land and all those kinds of things. Universal has two parks, Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure. Now this is where it gets confusing. Universal Studios has Harry Potter. Disney World does not. If you are going to Disney for Harry Potter, you're in the wrong place. I can't tell you how many times people think this. So like I said, Universal is two parks and one water park. You want to go to the best water park? Yeah, you want to go to Universal. You want to go to Volcano Bay. Universal and Disney World are about 30 to 35 minutes away from each other. So if you want to do a Disney World and a Universal vacation on the same trip, you kind of have to think about that. 35 minutes away from each other. And both, of course, are priced on a tiered system pricing. What does this mean? It means day one, Disney World or Universal, doesn't matter, is going to be the most expensive day. Day two is going to be slightly cheaper. Day three is going to be even more cheaper, and it keeps getting cheaper and cheaper the longer you stay. Both Disney World and Universal don't want you coming for one day, and they price you out accordingly for that. So, to go to Disney World for 4 to 5 days and then hop over to Universal for just one day, you're actually paying peak pricing for Universal. Or you could do a Disney World vacation, and then a few months later, next year, whatever, then you can do a Universal vacation. So just know these things in advance. Also, Universal and Disney World both give perks when you're staying on property. So what I usually do is I have people go to Disney World for 4 to 6 days, they stay on property. Then I have them transfer to Universal and stay on property to get those perks and do Universal for 2 to 3 days. This makes a super long vacation, but this way you're maximizing and getting the best out of both worlds. Hopefully, yeah. So again, guys, Universal, Harry Potter, Jurassic Park, they even have some Marvel. Disney's Hollywood Studios, not Harry Potter. Hopefully I've helped you guys out with that. And yes, I love both, Disney World and Universal. Love them both, enjoy them both, absolutely. So, next question I get, Nina, do I need a pool day? Do I need a relaxation day? Or I heard from a friend who told me that I'm gonna tire myself and my kids out and I absolutely have to schedule in a pool day. Yes and no for this. Personally, I am a no. I have never, ever, actually I did once and regretted it, booked myself a pool day. This means a day in my vacation where I don't have plans to go to any theme park. You have to think about this. Are you someone who can take a break for an entire day? Are you someone who can play in the pool all day long? Are you gonna have kids who you've showed them the parks, they had a blast, and then in the middle of your vacation you have nothing to do but the pool? Are they gonna be upset by that? These are the things you kind of have to think about. So if you are someone who can absolutely relax poolside with a cocktail all day long and your kids are 100% entertained, sure, do a pool day, have a nice break between the theme parks. My family, not so much. What we do is we get park pass reservations for the entire trip. And then about halfway through, if maybe we're not feeling it all day long, we'll just take a break midday and head to the pool. We absolutely love going to the park first thing in the morning when the park, when the lines are lower, have lunch, and then spend the afternoon in the pool and hang out at the resort and have dinner at the resort. Or we'll have dinner at Disney Springs. Or vice versa. Sometimes we'll have breakfast at the resort, we'll hit the pool in the afternoon, and then we'll go to the parks for dinner and fireworks. So for my family, we never exclusively have just a solid pool day, but you could if that's something you think your family will enjoy, and you can absolutely go to the pool or even Disney Springs. Speaking of Disney Springs, that's my next question, guys. You guys are always wondering, Nina, do I really need to go to Disney Springs? I mean, I'm already going to the parks for 4 days. Do I need to extend my trip one more day just for Disney Springs? Here's my take. First of all, Disney Springs is just shopping and eating. That's it. It's a shopping and eating district. Yes, there's a few other things that you can do there. You can do, let's see, they used to have bowling. They used to have a movie theater. You can take a hot air balloon ride. You can do the, the water taxi cars, which I have talked about before. So there are a few little fun things you can do at Disney Springs, but in general, it's shopping and eating. And yes, it can get crowded and busy if you're not prepared for that. So this is what I usually say. No, you do not need to take time out of your vacation to go to Disney Springs, especially if this is your first time there, especially if you have young kids, especially if your trip is on the short side, or if you're already super booked up with all these parks and restaurants and water parks and all these things you're already doing. You don't really need to go to Disney Springs in addition to all of that. You might want to go to Disney Springs if you love shopping. That's right. Perhaps you're a foodie. Perhaps you're going on an adult's trip and you want to go get some eats and some drinks and have some nightlife. Then yes, Disney Springs could be perfect for you. I will be honest and say that even though I don't suggest Disney Springs to most of my clients, my family personally loves Disney Springs and we always go at least once or twice a trip. However, we will go to the park all morning. And then in the afternoon, we'll bus over to Disney Springs to have dinner and ice cream. We don't exclusively spend all day long at Disney Springs, not typically. It's usually like a few hours in the evening to kind of just take a break from the parks. But know going into it that it's basically an outdoor mall that can be crowded. But if you're looking for Disney stuff, they have the hugest, biggest Disney store down there at Disney Springs. All right, guys, the final question. Are you ready? Number 10, Nina, which is the best Disney park? I can't tell you how much I don't like this question because there's just so much involved. What is the best Disney park? Best Disney park to me, that's Magic Kingdom. Best Disney park for you? I don't know. What are you looking for? What are your goals? Are you trying to do rides or shows? You want to do the classic stuff? Do you have kids with you? It's kind of a hard question to answer. So this is what I tell people is like a generalization. Magic Kingdom. It is the perfect park for first timers. You haven't been to Disney World before? You need to go to Magic Kingdom where the castle is. Are you a family with young kids? Yep, Magic Kingdom is going to entertain you and those kiddos the most because the most rides are indeed at Magic Kingdom. Are you someone who just wants to visit the classic park? Perhaps you're an older couple and you want to remember things like It's a Small World and Jungle Cruise and perhaps rides you went on when you were a kiddo. Absolutely, Magic Kingdom is going to be your park. But are you going on an adult-only trip? Do you love to eat or perhaps drink? You might be ready for Epcot. Perhaps you just want to go to a park that feels different. Maybe it doesn't feel as crowded. Maybe it's not ride. Epcot could be the park for you. How about Star Wars? Is that what you're after? Toy Story? Frozen? You've got teenagers? How about thrill and coasters? That's going to be Hollywood Studios, guys. So if that's what you've got, you're going to need to go to Hollywood Studios. Now, Animal Kingdom. Do you love animals? Absolutely want to see some amazing animals with some excellent care. Perhaps you just want a park that's kind of feels like a break. Perhaps instead of a pool day, you're looking for a park that's just more easy going, where it's not ride constantly, but there's enough stuff to kind of do and entertain yourself without it constantly being a ride. Well, Animal Kingdom could be for you. We absolutely love booking Animal Kingdom in the middle of our trip. So after we've done all these crazy rides and been around all these crazy people, sometimes we'll put Animal Kingdom in the middle, maybe sleep in a little bit or not stay in the park all day long and kind of have it be like a breather park for us. So, but absolutely, what's your favorite park? What's the best park to go to? To each their own, guys. I love every single one of those Disney parks for different reasons. So, anyway, guys, that's it for me. I hope you enjoyed this video, my top 10 new and different Disney World planning tips and tricks. If this video was helpful, let me know, because I can think outside of the box some more and come up with 10 more kind of out of the norm questions and things that you guys have and turn it into another top 10 video. So let me know in the comments. But as always, guys, if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. If the subscribe button is red, please click it, turn it gray, hit the bell icon for notifications, like this video, and like I said, comment. Was this video, did you like this? Was this helpful, or should I go back to the basics? I'm just trying to help you guys out. I'm trying to help you guys make the most of your Disney vacations. If you have other questions that you want me to put into a different video, maybe on its own or within another top 10, leave that in the comments as well. I'm always looking for new videos to film, guys, and who knows, the next one could be inspired by you. That's right. But as always, guys, mahalo for watching. Nina out.